Good morning, it is 8:58 a.m. Thursday, May 12th. We are going to reopen the meeting from Monday evening on May 9th. I'd have to do a motion to reopen, do I?
No.
We're just here, do I do?
Gonna reconvene.
Reconvene, thank
Yeah.
you very much, okay. We have with us Buddy Belcher for the budget this morning.
What do you want to know?
How are you gonna pay for it?
Jackson?
Ryan is our budget extraordinaire.
Who? Oh, I know.
Denied.
We've had increases, of course, and if you notice, Newburgh Food Pantry asked for extra money, which they'd never asked before. And the insurance is
I
all,
was off, I fixed it we'll discuss it.
Okay.
The spreadsheets, that I did,
So the
that I used to figure the insurance. I'll actually give you one of these, buddy. So, that will replace the page in here. So,
Page
So-
to page.
Brian brought to my attention that the insurance went down.
And it's supposed to go up probably,
Yeah.
if you're at a full-time position.
So, what I did, let me find my pages. To explain to you what happened. One of them, the first one, that I know the reason for that was, because my spreadsheet was on 2 pages. We took I was trying to teach Katie how to do it. I took the first page, not realizing it was on the back. So I did correct that. You'll see the changes. The second one, what I did with my papers. I wrote right on each one of them what I changed, why it didn't come out. Yeah. All right. So on see, it was on 2 pages,
Right?
and I needed to use this column, but I used this column over here.
Alright.
So, then on the second one, I had the wrong rate. Over here, I had 1.14 instead of 1.35 when I figured out the numbers. And then the third one, I hadn't added in building, which was 15. We got that number earlier, which was going to be an extra $1,500 a year.
Right.
So I have them. It's hard because all I have to go on is last year. So generally what I do is take that and increase, either 2 or 5%. So
So the total went up another $3,000,
Yes.
right?
yes. So
well, we're still taking 110 out of surplus, right?
yep,
The mill rate's going up 50 cents.
roughly.
I mean, unless you guys find a way to cut your budget, happens every year. My biggest concern, as it was the last budget meeting, was our roads. We put a lot of money in the roads, and I'm sitting there watching them go by the wayside. But Ed told me they got a plan, and I listened to his plan. That's
We got some ditching, we've got some grinding going on.
potholes to fill.
Yeah, we wanna try to get the overlay on the Lindsay Road. That's usually the one that's going by the wayside the most. what I did notice just from driving my end of the North Road is right there by Denny Babcock's. There's always been, when they rebuilt the road, they should have built that up a little bit, but they didn't. And those rocks are coming through there. It'll be another year before they're through, probably, but I'd like to, I mean, if you thought about it, just areas like that, you could cut that section, re-gravel it, compact it, repave it.
I know on
Do
the
you
check,
know anything else? It's seriously, I mean, we ride the.
well, you got the Chapman Road where the pothole is now on the Route 9 side,
Right,
where that guy's driveway washes out. That should be shimmed up, so when the water does come down there, it doesn't sit there as a puddle.
right,
Because all your roads are cracking now, and once they start cracking, you're gonna get water, and it's gonna freeze, it's gonna crack, it's gonna break, it's gonna look like Winnipeg. Monroe Road is a perfect example. On the other end of the Miles Road, where Miles Road hits Dixmont is just, I mean, you can't do 2 miles an hour. You been across there, Brian?
Yeah, just what,
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible. But I'm afraid that's what our $1.5 million roads are gonna look like in
well,
another 2 years.
Dixmont though, their seaming in the middle was awful. I remember we did our roads about the same time they did theirs. And Andy Watson was a selectman, and
Yeah.
he said they just hired John Works and he bought a paver.
Right.
And I mean, because the other end of the Marco Road is at the Dixmont, and it was a mess.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
You know, but you guys are the road commissioners. I would suggest you take at least,
I wonder if there's any extra money coming either between COVID or this infrastructure bill that they've done. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, when we did the roads, if you went ahead and did all your roads, and couldn't you apply to get some reimbursement when you start?
right, and I can remember talking about it, Andon had applied for a grant, gave them a 3/4 overlay.
Right,
You get a certain portion of the money to have that done
right,
to keep the roads up.
right.
And I know Hamden, I mean, next thing I know, I see a perfectly good tarred road
Getting paved.
getting paved again.
I agree.
And that was through their grants.
Right,
What grant it was, how it was, I really don't know. You'd have to get hold of
right.
Hamden.
And I was reading yesterday that there is some money coming through. I got an email. But, I can see free money going across my head. I mean, but, you know, but I will call Hamden and find out what it was.
If you would, because I think, again, correct me if I'm wrong, buddy, when we did this, if a town puts, goes out and repaves all their roads, then the state will help them keep them paved, so to speak,
Right.
keep them up.
Your other biggest concern on these roads is your shoulders, your inside and outside corners, like again, because I travel the Chapman Road all the time. It's like you with the North Road, you notice thing when you're on the Chapman Road, the inside corner coming from Route 9 by Scott Porter's place, that is dropped that much. Well, as soon as the water hits it, as soon as somebody hits it, they're gonna break that tar down. Granted, the Chapman Road has 3 or 4 layers of tar on it, so it's less apt to break down. Now, the Miles Road, you're coming from Dixmont, on the Miles Road, that inside corner by the schoolhouse road, that is starting to get deep, it needs to be filled in, you're gonna lose that inside corner. Everybody, I mean, all it takes is one trailer truck go across it, cuts the corner short, and it
Breaks that pavement.
the dual wheels are gonna break that down, 80,000 pounds of gravel, whatever.
Right.
But, that's your biggest thing. You gotta keep up, hold the tar in.
Yeah.
The other part is, if you're gonna do a lot of ditching, don't ditch too deep. Because like when Kendall did the North Road by,
Down in Farm.
the other day, Farm Road was
Yeah.
another one,
Down
Yeah,
in
they're
Farm,
filling
he
back
did-
in.
Yeah.
but-
Where he ditched really deep was on the hill by Arbo's, right there.
Right.
That's where it washes out.
I mean, you've got a 4.5 foot drop there. God forbid a car ever falls in that.
Yeah.
You know, so now you're down below.
Right
If-
after Shannon's too.
Right, and that's
It's really
the
deep,
other
right.
side of the
Right
hill.
in that hill right there has been ditched very deep.
Wherever water will sit, of course, that's not where water will sit, but the flat spot down where the apartment buildings are, that water sits, freezes, get under the road, starts
Oh, yeah.
picking the road up. But like I say, you know, your name, my name, Skip's name's on these roads, and, you know, when I talk to people in the town, they say, well, geez, you know, I see Lindsay Road splitting apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, until you can keep 80,000-pound dump trucks off these
them
roads,
completely, right, and
you
you
know,
can't.
it ain't gonna happen. You know, the Severance Road, Tapley Farm Road, whatever road you wanna call it, same thing. You know, they're hauling out of Ginn's Pit or Mogan's Pit. You're gonna beat the hell
You
out of
know,
these
that's,
roads.
that's why we attempted to put those
They're
weight,
up now,
weight limit signs up there,
Yeah.
you know.
but that's
But
not
you know,
stopping.
we used to, and you remember, Renee, we used to run a road budget of 350,000, and now we're what, down below 210,000? So
For summer roads.
So the question is do you want to increase your road budget, get these roads? You gotta cut shit back too. I mean, let the sun in. I mean, if you don't let that sun in to thaw these roads out, you're just gonna it's just making a mess. We spent a lot of money on the Flynn Road. That's held up real well. Well, it's time to go back there, push all that gravel back up that road because it's
Wash down.
it's higher than the Chapman Road now. So any water that comes down comes out on the Chapman Road.
Right.
Doesn't matter if it's 80 degrees out or if it's minus 10 degrees out. When it comes down, it's going to freeze. If it doesn't freeze, people drive over it, it's just going to ruin the road over a long period of time.
Okay.
And the other thing is if you do anything to these roads, as you remember, John Davis, please let the people know where you're working and what you do. Otherwise than that,
Yes, sir.
I gotta deal with customers.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about the budget before you leave?
No, Cindy's got a good handle on it, she always has.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to cut, I don't know where you would cut unless you call the school department and tell them that, you know, you don't,
We don't want to participate anymore.
yeah, I mean, and pay tuition to send your kids other places, that's what with critical race theory and
Gender.
gender equality.
Oh. True. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Good luck.
As always, we
Thanks for
appreciate.
dropping all this cheer on us.
Smile once in a while, will ya? Makes everybody happy.
We appreciate your time.
Been up to.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
See you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay,
So,
let's get started.
does anybody got any questions other than,
Well, I'm gonna let Brian go.
okay, because I think I've answered a lot of this. So.
Cindy and I did talk yesterday about
Okay.
a lot of what my concerns were. Maybe I'll just
Please highlight them though.
yeah, I was gonna say I'll mention them and your thoughts as well.
Okay.
we got the general on the admin with a pay increase of 3.7% increase, which didn't seem to me to be an awful lot considering where we are.
Yeah.
The insurance was out of whack with that because the insurance went up 46.8% as compared to that 3.7. And Cindy explained the reason for that. Then I talked to that wages went up a fair amount just under the municipal building, and that's Juanita's wages for taking over the whole building,
Right.
doing some of the school's work as well, which is understandable. And I would assume I'm going to get that back anyway, with reimbursement from the school. Electricity and fuel for the building, that, there's some pretty huge percentage increases in it, but the dollar amount isn't an awful lot. Electricity up a third and fuel almost a half, but considering what everything is doing,
I know.
I question whether that is realistic, but I don't know where else you'd go with it.
I know,
I did print this out. This is what we've paid the school so far this year for, let's see, October, 29, July, August, and September. So these are the first 2 quarters. They haven't billed us for the quarter we just did. And we paid $1,703.70, and that's 50%. And we're gonna continue to pay 50%.
Right.
So
So they're gonna share that expense with us now.
right, it's just gonna be switched. I mean, what, we'll bill them for half,
Yeah.
but we'll turn around, I think, and I'll get on that later, but, I will, when we get reimbursed from them, we're gonna apply it here because this account is gonna be over, because we're gonna be paying 100% and then get reimbursed, you see what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So, it's gonna be
Yes.
so hard to try to do this
I was
year.
gonna say, so how are you gonna credit debit it? I mean, you're
We'll
gonna
just
take
apply that reimbursement to that account.
to that account,
Yes,
okay.
yep,
So that account will only reflect our portion of the bills, basically.
no, it'll reflect both, cause we'll pay the whole thing and then reimburse half back
And then
to
credit
it.
it back, but I
Right.
mean, when the bottom number comes up,
Right,
it'll be.
it'll be the number we pay.
We pay,
Yes,
correct,
yes.
that's where I was going with it, okay.
Next one.
Under 1-25, assessing and planning, that went up almost 9%, and that's a result of Jackie, and her increased salary. And the total with all of that went up 12.2%, which
Is
is
that-
hefty, but that's not unusual when I'm seeing what other
Right.
businesses and other entities going through.
The mapping service, the 2250, is that the cost to digitize our
No,
maps?
no, that's what we pay. That includes mapping for the planning board and the town maps upgrades. When we get to the warrant, I will discuss digitizing.
Okay.
Again, in the building maintenance, the percentage is high, but yet the dollar amount really isn't, so it's kind of, percentage reflects in that. You get a 50% and then a 100% increase.
Oh, and I wanted to, oh, we haven't got to that one yet. Okay, keep going.
Building reserve fund? Is
The
that-
building reserve fund.
Yeah, I questioned this, and Cindy and I chatted about it, but this is what we had to do, remember, as a result of the lease. We
Right.
had to put in $1,000 to a fund, and I thought, why do that? Why not just, take what we have to do out of our maintenance funds? She said, we got like, what, a $40,000
Balance.
built up reserve there that gives us flexibility to do
I
whatever
want to give
with the
this
building.
example.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But-
that just came yesterday that we've got to pay. And this is one of the bills that won't be shared
Oh, with the RSU.
with the RSU,
I see what you're saying.
which was a flood that I spent couple of Saturdays ago, 5 hours here, trying to mop up and corral to
Jeez.
keep it off the gym floor.
Yeah.
It was a plugged toilet.
It kept running.
Yeah, we couldn't shut the water off. It was running out of the urinals.
You know,
We have
I-
no shut off.
There
Well,
is,
that's another issue.
there
We
is
have,
on, I have one at the house, and you have to unscrew something, and then the shut off is in there, and you have to use a screwdriver
Well,
and shut it
really?
off. Yeah.
Wow.
that's another issue
The
I'm
urinal's hard to figure
negotiating
out.
with the school as one of the projects that will share expenses is all of the shut-offs in this building are old
Right,
and will not turn just to do this.
right. It'd be worth the money to put
To have them
on,
all
to put on
replaced.
some new shut-offs.
But, yeah, we sit here damming up water in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I filled, we have two huge, what they call vacuum machines that suck, they're like a wet dry vac.
Right.
I filled it 5 times, sucking water,
Yeah.
until Nichols got here and got out back, and they had to sit there and do this.
Yeah.
Because the guy that came initially wasn't experienced enough. The other guy came, finally got the thing shut off,
Right.
and it just.
I would make a mental note to pursue shut-offs, because you're right, the building is old,
Yeah,
simple as that.
Yeah.
They probably
But-
aren't in place.
you know, that's a perfect example, you know, because I mean, I don't think we've spent a lot out of our building fund this year, and I might be able to pay that out of that.
Right, right.
But that's the sort of things that's,
I don't think it's a bad idea, because maybe down the road, we could use it if, toward some little thing at the
right.
new building, you know, or
Yeah.
a well, or.
And it can be used at any building, doesn't necessarily have to be this one.
Okay,
Um,
all right, so
So-
that answers that question,
yeah,
all right.
And remember years ago, we kind of, as a town, decided to do away with individual funds because they were getting lost and
Right,
yeah.
didn't really have a good track of
accounts are
them.
getting, yeah,
I feel mixed about it. I mean, dedicated account lets you know what you've saved up for a particular project,
right.
rather than going into general or someplace, so I'm 50-50 on it.
Right. I'm comfortable with leaving it as it is. Are you?
I like detail. And, before you had it dedicated, we didn't have it dedicated. As long as there's a way to track it.
Well,
Well,
with
she
the trio,
tracks-
yeah.
With
We didn't
Trio,
have trio back then, and now I think that all
Yes,
the accounts
they're
are all listed
balanced
there.
and everything.
But we had a lot of unknown money, as I recall, back when it was kind of discovered. We had like a building fund.
there was a building fund trying to renovate years ago.
Yeah.
They were gonna renovate the old town office.
There was something
It
else.
was-
Yeah, there was 2 or 3 of them
Yeah.
that, when I started here, I mean, they weren't in the TRIO program, because the TRIO program was started prior to me.
Right,
But for some reason, didn't get entered,
yeah,
and lost count of. And then I can't really even remember how I came upon them.
right.
But that was when the board voted at that time to take, because there was a bunch of them being saved for different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little
And,
things.
you know, that's why we do what we do
Well,
with fund balance.
I'm comfortable with this, not only because of Trio and keeping track of it, but we've had several emergencies at the fire department
Mhm,
that, you know, through the years, we've gone to this and used it for them.
mhm.
So
Yep.
I'm comfortable with it.
Wouldn't those have been found in the audit?
I think that's how I found them,
Yeah.
because they weren't in TRIO.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the first year we did an audit, because the auditor changed the year before I got here. No. I'm trying to think back that far as to how it came about, but I think the first audit that I went through, the auditors asked me about these. And I went searching and found them. And, you know, I mean, there's, once we got a hold of them, we put them on, and then I made the board aware of them. And that's when the board decided, you know, I totally forgot about these, and, you know, these little tiny accounts with these little bits of money, You know, we haven't put them in for a while. You know, why don't we just use fund balance as a savings account, and when we need something, take it out of it. And that's, they voted, there were articles to take that money and put it into fund balance and
Clean
just,
them all up.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so,
Okay, the next one I had questioned was our compensation for the fire department. That went up 27%.
I saw that.
Again, I guess it's some changes that they were making of compensating both firemen, I guess, and officers. I don't know how much you want to get into with rescue and what you told me about that, if there could be savings.
There could be
Potentially,
savings, but we don't know right now. It depends, all depends on, when Brent gets his EMT license. But there could be a savings, and this number is based on what we, or what you guys decided to pay them, and based on the calls.
Right.
With the rate increase that you gave them of the $15 an hour. And like I said, this is based totally on that. You know, there may be a cost savings of $5,000 or $6,000 of a position, maybe, but we don't know yet.
Right.
He just accounted for the pay increase, and even the number of calls is not up where it was 2 years ago, when we were pretty much using, or had used all our budget, and had asked the town for more,
Yeah.
asked the board for more, because we ran out of money.
Right.
You know, our call volume was right up there. And it is increased severely, but we're still not up where we were before.
I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with what they're doing. You know, they, was it last month, they had 100% response rate, the fire department anyway, but in fact, I remember reading where they responded to a Dixmont fire, and Newburgh had to take over the scene apparently, because there were no Dixmont firefighters, so. I'd say I'm impressed with what they're doing.
We're really lucky to have the people that we do and the response that we do, because you talk to any town around that has
Yeah,
them,
they don't have.
they're running, you know, and even, not even just around here, all over the place.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody. Nobody wants to do it anymore.
Exactly.
So my feeling is to support them any way that we can,
Yeah, I agree.
and count our blessings.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just questioned the FICA and Medicare increase, and
Yeah,
that's to be
That's due to the
understood.
salaries.
Yeah. Well, the wages didn't increase, that's why.
Oh,
And I
the
figured-
changed.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Yes, the rates
I had an
change.
answer for that, because I got that. I got that, and I was just trying to pull it up, because I had to send that
Yeah.
along, the information
So-
along.
and then we chatted about the salt shed, you know, it cut it down to $1,000. Thinking, you know, if we keep it there, maybe clean out that scrub brush that's all around it,
Yeah.
and stay at it rather than
We can,
uh,
it's up to
have
you
a,
guys.
have
Because it was
Full-fledged,
2,000, I lowered
yeah.
it to 1,000.
but if we wanna bring it down, the total amount down,
That
We'd
salt
leave it,
shed
so-
has come a long way in the last few years, though. We got the concrete repaired, we got the front apron reclaimed,
Yep.
we've cleaned up around there, we've, sectioned off, shut off that other road that was on,
Yeah.
you could come
Yeah.
in. So I feel like $1,000 is enough for right
Yeah.
now.
So,
I'm good with
On
that.
this, I do have a couple of things.
Okay.
One thing you spoke of, or two things. So, on the salt, the 10,250.
Yes.
So we have all the salt for next year. We could cut it there. Brian mentioned it the other day and I never give it a thought. I wouldn't totally eliminate it, but we could have a little bit of cost savings there.
Okay.
But we gotta remember next year to put it back up. Unless there's some sort of deal or bargain at the end of next year that we might wanna take
Yeah.
advantage of. And the other thing is we might wanna switch things around. I called Wellman's
Yeah.
and got numbers because this was something else that I didn't think of. Come plow contract says that anything over $4 a gallon, we pay a surcharge
Exactly,
for.
exactly. You're gonna see that for everybody.
So we're right now paying it for the trash.
Yeah.
So they got me the number that last year they used 2,518 gallons of fuel credited to our account
Right.
for plowing. And if you do that times $3 a gallon, that's $7,554
Yeah.
that we're gonna pay in surcharges.
Yeah. Say that number of gallons again?
2,518. And I do know the contract says anything over $4 a gallon. So I don't know if you wanna switch some of this around
Well,
or leave it.
Here's
And
what I would say is, you're not gonna use that much in salt sand money, you're not.
right, and it's the bottom number we're looking at, so we
Right.
could leave the 10
I was gonna say, I would leave it alone.
and just go over in our contracted services, which will equal out at the bottom.
Right, exactly.
Does that make sense?
I mean, if you would like to adjust it, you could take 5,000 out of that salt budget and put it on your winter road budget.
It's gonna come out of the same thing.
Exactly. I mean, it makes the numbers look different on paper, but it is the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that, but you're right, I would leave that right there, I would not take it out of the budget, because you're going to end up paying it out somewhere.
Cindy?
How about if you had another line item saying fuel surcharge, so that next year when we do the budget, memories being what they are, that it'll jog our
Well-
memory as to what,
Yes, I can add one, it won't have a budget,
right.
it'll just show it overage,
Right.
but as you know, the
Or take the- or take the salt.
432,599 is the number we have to stick to,
Right,
so,
right.
okay?
That's not a bad idea
I
though,
will
Brian.
add surcharge,
Line item. Because then you could, at least you could put
then we can keep track of it.
$3 to $5 grand or something like that in there for surcharges.
I'll do that with trash too,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
because we are right now paying a monthly surcharge, roughly about $200.
Well, that's not really saying on the news that diesel is gonna be tough to get here in a little while.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
It's,
Because diesel is the unrefined product,
yeah.
you know? You have to refine it to make gasoline.
yeah, because I talked to the trash company and we're basing it on 200, it's gonna be about $2,400. At $200 a month.
I just read yesterday that they canceled the lease of a huge part of Alaska for drilling.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
So,
seems deliberate to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all
Yeah.
deliberate. I agree.
I had under the spring cleanup, we've got the same figures as a roadside pickup that we had. I'm suggesting we could cut there, and I just ballparked what it would be. I figured if we were running 6 hours, that it would be somewhere around, $3,200 to $3,500 for that, plus whatever the tipping fee is. And if we use last year's, I don't know if you'd want to go up from last year's or not. Since the road pickers, trash pickers won't be around.
Right, exactly. roadside pickup, is their contract expiring?
What do you mean?
I thought, we were,
That was a separate charge anyway. We
Yeah.
always paid separately for
I
that.
always paid
I
separate.
thought that was what this budget was.
We
If-
did, we budgeted money for that as a separate items from the regular trash pickup.
Okay,
Remember, we used to have 2 pickups
yes.
a year.
Yeah. So, I would not, same sort of theory, you would use that overage for surcharges?
Or maybe a second pickup if we have enough left.
Right. Maybe, yeah, maybe
We
a
could
fall
start a
cleanup.
second one in the fall.
A fall cleanup, sure.
Remember, 50 cents.
Well, people are gonna wanna see what they're getting for that 50
Yeah.
cents.
Yeah. And that's the reason why we only do one. They decided several years ago when the costs, come in way over what we had budgeted, for one,
Yeah,
said we can't afford to do another one.
yeah.
We don't have the money, and it just stopped.
Drives me crazy, everybody, like on those Facebook comments. It's all about the money, it's all about the money. It's all about your tax bill. We can spend as much money as you want us to spend, but you pay for it. It's
Yeah.
in your tax
Under your
bill.
pocket.
Yeah.
Right, it's
And
in
then
your
the
tax
first
bill.
ones come screaming in here when their taxes go up.
Yeah, exactly. It just,
And they will.
people don't make that connection though. It
Yeah.
just amazes me.
Yeah.
But I've always noticed though at the town meetings, people tend to be very, very generous in spending money.
Yes.
We get to one here pretty quick where I
Yeah.
feel the same way. Anyway,
So I think you just leave that be. I think we leave it.
And not put in the line item for the fuel surcharge?
She can do that.
I can do that
She
too.
can do that,
he
but not
was-
reduce the budget.
Yeah.
And then if we do have enough after this one, I'll bring it to you to see what the balance is, and you can make the decision for the fall.
How do you feel about that?
I'd like to see it go down simply to see if we can lower the mill rate. Let me say this, where I think we're at, I'm as guilty as everyone else. I'd love to see extra money going in the general fund at
Yes.
the end. But I think we're at the point where, we've got the balance up where it really needed to be, that we don't have to be hoarding this money, if you will, you know what I mean? Now, every year, we always take out, and he said it today, we're taking out 130,
10.
110, and hopefully we're gonna put 110 back in. Do you
To
have
keep it
any?
stable.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be more.
see, that's what happens.
I'd
We're
like
built
to
up.
see us, take, if you think it's gonna be more, I'd like to see us take out a little bit more.
And we can,
Yeah,
when we get to the revenues.
yeah.
I just did what we did last year.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're I predicted, I don't know if I had a.
But I'm speaking attitude too,
Right.
that we have of wanting to fill up that general fund.
Well, we've
And-
been squeezing every penny for the last
Yeah,
10 years to
I got it.
recover.
Well,
get
and the
that,
hard
yeah.
part is, and I have no problem with trying to save or keep the mill rate the same. And they did this for years. They come in and cut our budget.
Exactly.
And
the
never
school-
touched the school and the
Right.
county.
Right.
Yes.
Until, this budget when, 6 years ago,
I remember.
was so bare bones that it was scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
exactly.
numbers haven't changed much,
No.
other than salaries, numbers haven't changed
Right,
much.
other than salaries, insurances,
Insurances.
regular stuff
You
that
know,
we have no
there is-
control over.
I've had
Yeah.
the same number in the office supply budget in the office for the 11 years I've been here.
Yeah,
We have,
And granted, we don't spend it all, but we're all very frugal as to what we get and what we don't get. There's a lot of things that we can get that,
yeah.
but we don't buy anything that we don't need.
Right.
Just because, But I watched them, I finally had to speak up one year and say, look, you keep cutting our budget to compensate for the school, and you're eliminating town government.
Yeah,
I'll never,
Plain
altogether.
and simple.
I'll never forget one year we're on the budget committee and we cut out a telephone.
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember
out of the
that,
library.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, so.
And that's trouble, you know.
We cut out a telephone line.
Yeah,
Duh.
we're not there
Yeah.
yet, but the county tax went up 10%.
I know, that,
Yeah.
and, you know, we have to, you say we have to compensate for it, you try to not raise your
Yeah.
budget, but you're right, at some things you just gotta raise your budget a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So, I agree.
I mean, if we try to eliminate, it's just like the school budget. I can tell you next year, you're gonna get a huge hit.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah.
in that notice, you noted there was, what, $72,000 that we're getting extra this year,
Right,
then, that extra money from last year that we fought for, but we're not gonna get it next year,
no.
you
No,
know?
exactly.
And that's almost $100,000, that's almost $1 on a mill rate.
Right, and that's what Brian said was true, you know, they're probably adding a couple of positions here and there with this free money, so to
Yeah.
quote unquote,
Yeah,
that they'll have to keep funding,
yeah,
you know, so
yeah,
I
well,
hear
it's
you.
just like the expansion that they're doing here. 2 more classrooms, you know, which is being done with grant money.
Right.
And yeah, there probably is a need for it, and they paying with grant money this year, but next year is gonna have to be funded in the school budget.
Right,
So, I mean.
all right, I say leave it in the budget. I feel like we should just leave that in the budget, because between the surcharge for the trash and maybe a second pickup, I'm sure we could use it, you know.
And you can, when we get to the revenue sharing, you know, increase it. Where, you know, I went to $100,000, but, I'll show you the thing where they're predicting that we're gonna get, again, like $130,000.
Don't they predict that and they don't come through with it?
No, last year,
We got more than we,
they were predicting it, but I didn't trust
We
that we
didn't
were gonna
believe
get
Right.
it, but we did.
Okay.
So we can take more of that money, which will be less than was in the fund balance at the end of next year. We're gonna use it, so, okay?
And, then I went to, page 11
okay,
on mowing. I think you decided on who was doing the mowing and what the amount was, and I
yeah,
can't remember
did,
what
I
you.
can't remember his name though,
Yeah, it was
somebody.
87, municipal mowing,
Municipal law.
Jarvis?
yeah, Robert Jarvis, yeah.
So do you remember how much it was?
It was $8,700,
So we
I
can
think.
fix that, right? I mean, we can lower that to,
You can,
Did that include his cemetery cleanups and? Or that's
this
in
is
the
just
that's
the
in the
cemetery. The roadside mowing gets paid out of roads, and the fire department will get paid out of their
I
municipal.
thought on his bid there was a couple other things, but his bid encompasses all of that.
Yeah,
I was
you put
wondering.
in roadside and cemetery and fire pond and station.
Right.
Yeah,
how much is the cemetery?
8,125 in-house. And roadside, 1,824.
The roadside gets out of, the
That's
roadside
under
gets.
something else, it's
Yeah.
not out of
That,
this.
it's not out of the
Yeah.
But
cemetery
that's
budget.
4,000 savings right there if we just adjust that to
Okay,
what the bid was.
okay. So it's 8,100 you said?
8125.
8,125. I'm gonna adjust that to
I'm just thinking that, there'll
8,500.
be, how many, will it be 2 mowings or 1 mowing?
There's 2 in May,
4.
2
So
in
then-
June, 2 in
So
July.
there'll be 2, wait a minute, I'm losing track, 2 mowings that won't be under, that might be an increase. Wait a minute, is that going for our fiscal year or is that just calendar year bid? That's probably
That's-
calendar
that's-
year, right?
That's probably calendar.
Well, his
season.
first pay will, it's for our fiscal year,
Okay.
Okay.
because he'll get paid
Yeah.
May and
So my
June out
question
of
is,
this
next
year.
May will be at these prices, not new prices.
No, next May will be at new prices.
Then we might have to adjust that upwards a little bit, assuming their prices go up. Because we're only
If
going
he's
to,
like the other guy, we were up there. He did it.
You
the
can't
first
cut anything, can you?
Do you wanna
I'm
cut
just-
that, let's compromise you two. How about if we make it $10,000? Do you wanna cut it to $10,000?
Whatever you wanna do.
Because the bid is 81, I get what Brian's saying, it'll probably go up, but how much we don't know, of course.
It's hard.
Well, gee, 'cause, 20% is $1,600, so 10,000 certainly ought to cover it. And you're only talking 2 mowings.
Right, so let's reduce it to 10,000. How do you, is that okay
Okay.
with you?
Yes, I got something. Now, donations.
Okay,
I'm just gonna say what I think of this and then do whatever you want.
okay,
Number one, I don't believe in donating tax collected money. Now, I know the town is very, very generous in how they do these, but it just irks me to tax people money to turn around and donate it to outside agencies. Now, I'm not saying these places aren't deserving, but you look around at some of these taxpayers we have in Newburgh, they don't have an awful lot of money, and yet we want to tax and give their money away.
oh, that's true.
I've just been against it from the very beginning, but again, I'll say that the town is very generous and they do want to donate.
A lot of towns have done away with them.
A lot of towns have done away with them.
What,
I mean, look at
What
the
does each
increase at
agency
Penquist Cap. Holy smokes.
what does each agency actually do for the town of Newburgh?
Well, that's, we usually have a Penquist Cap representative present.
I thought she was Eastern Agency.
Oh, maybe she's Eastern
I
Agency. I
remember
can
how
never remember.
she came down really hard on Pinquist, I thought.
Yes.
The eastern area was down on eastern area because,
Oh.
and that's the hard part. Pinquist
Aren't they
used to run
government?
the pre-K.
Right, but aren't they
They
government
lost
funded?
their government funded. And they lost some of their federal money, that's why they don't do the pre-K anymore. So, I mean,
Do you get letters requesting these
I
amounts?
do.
All right.
so Eastern Area on Aging, last year, Eastern Area on Aging provided health insurance counseling to over 6,000 community residents, saved community residents 1.5 million in Medicare premium deductibles and copays, provided 223,000 meals to homebound seniors, and provided 45,000 hours of volunteer services across our region.
But they
Because
don't,
of the generosity of the towns across the region, last year we were able to feed 45 older adults for an entire year. But they don't give
Like in
statistics of
Bangor,
what they do
probably.
here.
right, that's what I was gonna
Yeah,
ask.
Bangor.
Do they give you the numbers for Newburgh?
Yeah, services provided to the town of Newburgh. Commodity supplemental food program, served 44. Family caregiver services, support and education to individuals caring for loved ones including Alzheimer and dementia. They had one person. Furry friends, supplemental pet food. They had 150 units served. Home delivered meals on wheels, 1,045 units served. Information and assistance, 65 units served. Wellness programs, 14 served.
Okay, so Eastern Area obviously is contributing to Newburgh. Penquist Cap though is 22 budget was 1,800 and they're asking for 5,000. I think that's a huge increase.
And, okay, one of the girls at the barn, she works for Penguin. And she does the homebuyer education and the mortgage foreclosure prevention. She oversees that. Well, they're very generous with their bonuses. She's looking at buying new books. So,
And it's not my tax dollars, but I'm kind of on the same page as Brian.
Totally.
Yeah,
You know,
that
would
is-
these people get these services
Over the
whether
top.
we donate this money or not?
Yes.
Yeah,
Right, our $5,000 is not gonna run Penquist Cap.
No.
no.
And they
No.
are a federally funded government
You know,
agency, I'm sure
A
they
lot
got.
of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eastern Area on Aging has to get funding from somewhere.
Can we cut them back to 1,500?
I was gonna suggest 500.
You know what, my suggestion
I
is
like
leave
that
it blank
suggestion
and let the
better.
town decide.
Yeah.
I know, again, I'm not for this, and I don't wanna see at least my stamp of approval on it.
What is,
Well,
what is?
they go on retreats and they play games.
Yeah.
And, you know, they go to like Samoset
Yeah.
and have a retreat. and they
Yeah, they're
go-
not like camping.
Yeah. Board of directors people on these places make,
Yeah.
So,
over the
okay,
top.
so let's do this. Let's put Penquist Cap at 0. Do you wanna put them all at 0, or how do you? Who is part for P? Part-
that used to be Spruce Run.
What's Newburgh FP?
You work food pantry.
Oh, they do a good job.
The Snowmobile Club, don't we reimburse them
That-
their
that-
registrations?
Right, that's not raised from taxes.
That's their
That's-
registrations.
That's the money we get from the state.
Right,
We just give to them
we give it
instead
back
of
to
putting
them,
it in.
right.
Yes, those two,
What's CHC?
This is reimbursed and not a donation.
Community health
right,
and
it's not a donation.
Oh, Community Health and
It's
Housing.
just
right,
always
okay.
been there. There's an article at the first of the warrant.
I know, why do we have it in here though? Because there
know
used
what
to be
that
an
makes it
article
look-
that said we
Because you
should,
have to have, there is an article.
right?
So we have the article to disperse the money to the snowmobile club. And then we have under, we have to have an expense and a revenue. So that's how it's been done since forever.
But this is basically a reimbursement, not a donation. This is a reimbursement.
It is a donation because we're donating the money the state sends the town
Right.
for snowmobile registrations to the club. A lot of them don't donate it, don't give it to the
Oh,
clubs.
I see.
They don't have to. So,
Life Flight, we've got, that's way down.
and that,
They asked for an awful lot of money last year, as I recall.
You know,
I think
3,000
they got it, too.
Yeah, $3,102. Yeah.
and there's,
I'm gonna just say something off the top of my head just to how you guys feel about this. Why don't we put all of these down to 500 or except with the community health and counseling is 100, except the snowmobile and that. I mean, the food pantry, how long has the food pantry been in service?
2 years, 4 years?
4 years?
Why did they up it to 1,500?
Yeah,
The committee,
that's
they must
quite
have
a-
had something to go on, a request, or
They did do a request.
Again, is that federally subsidized?
They actually run, I believe, out of Good Shepherd.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how it all runs, if they have to pay Good Shepherd for what they get. Cindy.
They bring, every Friday morning early, they bring the truck in and unload at the food pantry. And it's tractor trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're there for a while unloading food, so a lot of it does come from
Good Shepherd.
Good Shepherd.
And then they have another place, I believe, in Unity, where they get some of their food.
and stuff.
But I don't believe they pay for the food.
I don't know.
I don't
Well, that's what I was just gonna
I
ask,
don't-
what
I
are
don't
their
think they-
operating costs for the food
I don't
pantry?
think that they, paid for that, but.
I know in my town, we have one with the church, and we make a donation, but they give us a full financial of what is going on, you know, what they took in, what they
That's what
dispersed
Deb
out,
does too, I
what
know
they
my girls
dispersed
over there.
for, you know, I mean, just to show the people, you
Right,
know, this is where your money went.
right.
Because they've got refrigerators and everything there too, and
Yeah.
utility costs in
Yeah.
that building.
But, I mean, the one at the Clifton Church is, you know, they put in a big report, you know, just for transparency to show people where their tax dollars went.
I'm sure if we requested that we get a report.
Yep.
So, what are your feelings on all this stuff?
But those cars line up, and they have to sign up for it, and they line up, and.
But the other thing is it's not just Newburgh residents. They
There's some
serve,
that come from Carmel,
Yeah.
and there's some that
there's
come from
several,
Dixmont.
yeah,
Yeah.
they have come from Winniport, Monroe,
Okay.
Oh,
and a
really?
whole bunch of them.
But they
So,
have to qualify.
yes, they do.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So how do you feel about,
My opinion is to leave it blank and let the town decide.
Leave it zero?
That's just mine.
your opinion?
I know,
Because there's always a huge debate about this too. But Brian's right, if there's $1,000 in there, a lot of times they increase it. If you leave it zero, they might put it at $1,000. It depends on who shows up that year.
I see. I figure like, well, it's good to debate it, because if we put an amount in there, we can always increase it.
They can increase it, decrease it at the town meeting, yes.
Right. But if we put it zero, then people are gonna,
They can
Yeah.
put a number in.
Yeah, they can put enough. We did that one year. I talked everybody into doing that. They still gave, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll still give.
And we can always explain what they requested at the meeting, if you put the zeros in.
yeah.
You
Do you
know,
have
I'll
to
have
put
my-
You can
zero
put-
in, or can you just leave
you
it
can
blank?
put
Because people
requested,
are gonna
yeah.
look at that, and if it's zero, they go, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you leave it, can you leave it blank and the town at the meeting decide what? to put in?
When we usually write the warrant, do you
We
give,
do a list.
we do a list, but we do previous year, or do we just do
Nope,
requested
We just
amount?
the requested amount.
So let's do this, when we write the warrant, we can make note of it.
Yeah.
Let's do requested amount, and then town recommends, and leave it blank. Let them recommend,
Separate.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Want to do that? Is that
Yeah. I will
okay with
fix
you?
the article.
That way
So-
nobody's getting hot under
So
the
how do-
collar because it's.
How do you handle that with the budget, though?
I will go back in after.
The only,
And
okay.
put the amount they vote on.
The only thing I would note is that with the snowmobile club, in parentheses, I think you should put reimbursement of registration
Right.
fee. We don't really give to them, but we have done
Yeah.
that since I can
Yep.
remember. Okay. General assistance, leaving it the same?
I guess, we're in crazy times.
Yeah, I'm leaving it.
Oh, okay, on Penquist, what, they requested the $5,071. And, is the town gonna vote on that, or do we put it?
We're
in-
gonna
Have
put
a-
these,
Have a list of what we did last year, and then people will say, whoa.
so
what is
I'll
that?"
do the article and I will put the same as we do, but I will
Previous
have
year.
3 columns.
Yes, previous year.
Previous year, recommend,
Requested.
requested, and then the third one will be 0.
Right.
Yep.
Or blank,
Right.
and they can decide.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. That Knobscot County tax drives me crazy. We could put that right into our road budget, so. Can we just not pay them 1 year?
And school went up.
Yeah, and I don't know if I brought it with me, Brian. You have your packet.
But it was like
Cindy.
3-point-something%, right? That it went up.
What was the email from Regan? How much did it, the
Yeah, I
school
didn't bring
budget?
my, I didn't bring my
She's got her
packet.
book in, my other book's in the other. I don't think I have it in this, it was extra.
That's the email from,
Regan, yeah.
It was like 65,000 or something like that. It was-
2.62% of the school, excuse me. The gross school district budget is an increase of 2.2. The district's current budget, Newburgh's anticipated share of the budget will be assessed at $1,300,000, a modest increase from last year of $29,981.50, or 2.31%.
Yeah. Then if we added that $72,000 that we're getting, that's,
No, it's already accounted for in that number.
I know. If we added that 72,000 to, did you just go up?
29,
29,981.50.
So if we add the two, that's
that's
100,000.
almost $100,000 increase,
Yeah.
which we will
Well,
take that
and
plus.
that's a little less than 10%.
Yep,
So,
so next year, you wanna prepare yourself that you're gonna have,
Jesus. We'll have this increase, we'll have the 10% on this and then another 10%.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
Charter.
You know, and the assessment amount is inclusive of adult education services for Newburgh share is $3,659. I would like to see how many people from Newburgh.
have you
Actually
seen
go
what
to-
they put in their adult education courses?
Yeah,
It's a bunch of crap.
yeah.
It's like
It's nothing really, I try to always read it.
rug hooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I know,
But-
we're contributing $3,600 for somebody there.
Yeah.
and they charge the people to take the course.
Yes, and they
Yeah.
charge the people to take the courses.
I get that freaking,
I don't know.
Crazy system we got.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So I have a number in there for overlay, but it was last year's, and we won't know that till we do the tax commitment.
Okay.
You remember, that's all part of the tax commitment, because we have a high and a low overlay that you
Right.
can pick from. So I left that.
Okay.
So, on to revenues.
Okay.
All right. My comment to Cindy was, under our excise taxes, the way that she's left it the same as this year. And my thought is, do we increase this because of values of vehicles going sky high? Surely we're gonna get
Oh, yeah.
some more money for that.
But how,
If they can get the vehicle.
Yeah, I know,
How
and these are
much-
things
yeah.
to keep in mind.
yeah.
I
But-
can work for a guy that he ordered a vehicle back the first of the year,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna be in until the end of June.
Yeah,
And, because of, electrical
Yeah.
components.
Chips.
Yeah, chips.
There's a chip shortage.
Yeah. And,
This
Do you
Cindy's-
think it would be significant, the increase?
I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there.
So just to give you an idea, we budgeted 280 last year.
Right.
As of your budget numbers that, your report you got at your meeting,
Right.
if you look in the revenue report, right now, we have collected $10,000 roughly more than what we had budgeted, so we're at 290.
Okay.
So, we have 2 months, we may be another 10,000.
Okay. Do you wanna put that at 300,000? I'm fairly comfortable with that, I don't wanna put it up too much.
No, I just would like things somewhat realistic again.
Well,
back to
if
our-
we're at 280 and we've actually collected 290, and we put it at 300 and we collect 310,
Yeah.
that's,
Mm-hmm.
you know, pretty close.
Up to you.
You all set with that?
Yeah. I would say 290 because it's a certainty, but the 300, yeah,
I wouldn't go any more than 300.
no, that'd be pie in the sky.
Why don't you increase it to 2...
Shit.
295.
295. 295.
Yeah.
Okay,
And what did, I marked down the homestead thing, but I don't remember what you told me.
okay. Homestead is determined when we do the thing. It's state revenue sharing
Right.
is where you want to take.
Right, I always get confused on this
Okay,
part.
so last year we budgeted to use $80,000 of our revenue sharing.
Right,
And you remember I told you they had sent through, they give you some estimates
right,
of what they think it's gonna be. And they had put it up to like 140.
right.
And I'm going, I don't trust them that many. Well, as of this same report, we actually have collected almost $76,000 more than what we budgeted. We're up to 155,000. So you could, and I have put this year's up to 110. But you could 100. I
100.
did 100.
You did 100.
Yes, but you could easily, because the estimates this year, they're saying another $40,000 more than they gave us last year.
Which, in my little brain, means they're dispersing what's left of the COVID money.
Yeah,
And then the year after, it'll go down.
but you
Exactly.
could
We're gonna be
go up
hooked on it
another,
like-
Right,
you
you're gonna
could
be
go up
hooked.
another $10,000-$20,000, because this is all gonna crash.
Yeah, yeah, it's
You
not
know,
gonna
and this
hold.
revenue sharing is all based on invested money.
Yeah, yeah.
We just don't know when it's gonna happen.
Okay, which item are you looking at?
State revenue number
State revenue
88.
down here.
Yeah.
State revenue sharing.
Yeah,
So, you're saying we estimated 80, we've collected $76,000 more than that?
We've collected 155,894.
Wow.
And we still got more to go. We still got 2 months to go.
So, want to put it at 150, you guys? I mean,
Oh.
that, I don't want to put it too high in case,
But just
They-
remember,
they-
you're not gonna, you may not have it to use next year, so you're gonna take another dump backwards. I'm trying to keep it as
Yeah.
even keel as we can.
I know.
You know, cause you start messing with the numbers and,
Then you've got to explain why
right,
they disappeared and why
Right.
the taxes just shot up
Right.
$1.50.
yeah.
I would say the 150 is reasonable.
Barney, what do you think?
Yeah,
I mean, you
Just
could say
read it.
175, but the 150, you're,
We collected 150 to date, a little over 150. to
We've
date.
used 80 of it, the rest we'll fund balance.
get your
But-
work done and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Well, let
talking,
me,
the government giveth and the government taketh
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
so
I
whenever,
just would like to keep it a
whenever
little
we
closer.
get more and we put it back into fund balance, that's part of our 110 to
Yeah.
reduce taxes.
Yeah,
So we benefit either way
right,
without raising the taxes and
right. To
protecting
help with
more.
the increase this year, like I said, I'd gone from 80 to 100,000.
Right,
I would be comfortable with, 110, 120. I wouldn't go with that top number, not
Okay.
knowing if we're gonna get it
you
again.
know what, I'm
We
gonna
have
take,
this year.
I'm gonna take your
I
word for
just,
it.
boys, times are
Well,
This is all gonna crash, and when it does, you know, they may say we're gonna get another $150,000, and then
Yeah.
6 months into it, everything crash, and we don't get another penny.
Right.
And there we are stuck with 70 grand, which we're gonna come up short. And when you come up short, it comes out of fund balance.
Right, and then you have to explain why you're short and
Right.
what your budgeting processes were.
Yeah,
It's easily explainable.
yeah,
Yes, that's true.
yeah.
So do you wanna wanna compromise at 125?
Whatever you wanna do, I just.
Or you wanna do
I don't care, just put it up.
120.
Put it up. All right. So, what is, you don't wanna go too much on, you don't wanna go 150?
You can do what you want. I'm not comfortable with 150. I think that you know, you're playing with fire.
Okay.
I honestly do. I mean, yes, we have collected 150 this year, and they are predicting that we're gonna collect roughly the same next year, but things are so uncertain, and I would hate to see you take that up, especially if when it's all said and done. When you do this, it sets our mill rate down. And we all know that we're gonna get a huge hike next year with the school because of the extra revenue that we won't have.
Right.
Assert it, 125, go.
Okay, 125. So, all right.
Now, did I miss an answer on the homestead?
The homestead.
Yeah.
80, number 80. There's no
Yeah,
figure
because
for
we
it,
did-
and that's reimbursement from the state, correct?
Right. But we don't know what that is yet. Because we don't know what our homestead exemption is gonna be.
But they only reimburse, as I recall, a certain percentage.
It's gonna go to, I think, 73% this year.
What was it last year, do you remember?
60, might be 62.
I thought it was more than that, but it still
might
wasn't
have gone up.
100%.
But I've gotta get with Jackie, because, I mean, we're fighting right now, we haven't collected 120. We're
Really?
short.
They haven't given you the 120?
Nope. Our homestead right now, where are we? Homestead, we budgeted 129.16 and we've collected 108,968, so we're almost 12 grand short that Jackie's fighting for, because I called her, I said, we haven't got all our money, why? So she's in talks with Maine Revenue to find out where the rest of the money is.
Okay.
So, just as soon as she gets that and we talk, I will finalize that. So, the rest of them are pretty standard.
Public Works, 25,000.
That's
Yeah,
the
I
local
made a
road
smart-
assistance.
Yeah, made a comment, they're not gonna give us any more money for diesel. That's what we keep
No.
getting is 25,000.
Oh, we could increase it $1,000 because we collected 26,440 this year.
I thought that was a blanket, then we did, it was at 25.
We've
Probably.
done 25 because it's been 25,840 or whatever.
Right.
But for some reason, it went to 26,440 this year. We get the payment every December.
I wonder if it'll help with diesel.
I don't think so.
I'm comfortable, that's not a big variant there. I'm comfortable just leaving that at 25.
Yeah.
What we did, we've got the snowmobile. Yeah, oh yeah, it's revenue expense too.
Yes.
All right, I think I'm done.
Okay, so I will make those changes.
Okay.
Done that. So, is it possible, I do have a couple more things.
Okay.
We were gonna decide on the heat pumps. So, I should have got the email in and I didn't last time, but this is a copy of the email that, Dave's World had sent with the quote, which explains the answers that, to the questions you wanted me to go back to him.
Well, Mitsubishi has the most rugged units on the market, is what he's saying he's most
Yeah.
able to.
And I did go back,
I'm comfortable with that.
so,
I mean, we really hashed this up the other night, I felt.
but I did go back to Valley
Okay.
because he did that original quote based on the ones he had done before, which he had done with Chris. Okay? So I asked him to split out the 2 units versus the 1
Mhm.
for better efficiency, and he did on the original. It does come with a rain cap with a drip edge, which I believe is the same as these, so just trying to put them on a even playing field.
Okay, alright. And his product is a
Fujitsu. So there's a Fujitsu and a Mitsubishi.
And what was the total on one Dave's World, which doesn't really say here in the email?
Dave's World was $8,338.90.
8 what?
$8,338.90.
Less than 1,000.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll get your $1,000 back, so he's 7,300. They factored in your, he's got an extra $200 in here.
On the Valley?
Oh.
On the
Valid.
Valley
Oh, if you pay
services.
with a cash or check
Yeah,
immediately.
so we have to check when he gets here and installs it and hand it to him, we get a $200 discount. So, I mean, it doesn't matter to me either one, but I figured I'd go back to Valley and, put him on an even playing field because, he wasn't aware that he had to do a 2 system and the other 2 did do 2 systems.
Right.
He did the 1 with the 2 inside.
Now I'm confused. I had assumed that with a bigger unit on the outside and 2 inside units for that room. Right? And this one's got a 15,000 BTU and a 12,000 BTU. Is that, the 12,000, is that gonna be just that section,
It's gonna be
this
2
first
units
office?
outside.
I know that, but where is the heating? Is it just this one, the first room for the 12,000? And then the other room is the
It's,
15,000?
yes, there's 1, yes. So,
I'm gonna be kind of crass here. It doesn't matter to me, but you want to get the best product if you're gonna spend that money.
and I don't know much about either the Fujitsu or the Mitsubishi. I have a Mitsubishi at home. And based on his email, from Dave's, the Mitsubishi, is the most rugged units on the market. Where Valley does Fujitsu, and I don't know much.
I don't know anything.
What do you have on them? What do you have at
I
your?
have the Fujitsu,
You do.
yes.
How do you like it, Brian?
I like it a lot.
And you have the Dakin?
She has Dakin.
I don't know that much about.
I worked for a company in Belfast and they had the Mitsubishi. And, those were really good.
Yeah.
But according to the technicians, the, Dayton holds up the best. Because of the problem.
So I just Googled
Technicians
it.
are the ones in the know.
I just Googled it for giggles.
Yeah, I did.
And it says, in recent years, Mitsubishi Electric have edged further and further away from Fujitsu in terms of performance. Fujitsu's domestic and small building air conditioning systems are still energy efficient, cost effective, but this starts to break down in larger buildings.
And who has the better service if something goes wrong?
I don't know.
Well,
Necessarily.
Dave's had a better warranty. Theirs was 10 years, I believe. Yeah, Dave's World on their, warranty, 10-year parts and compressor.
I do like that.
I do too.
I do like that.
Because his was only 7,
Yeah.
so. That was a big thing that stuck out.
This is another article, it says Mitsubishi offers the best ratio of efficiency to cost, followed in order by Daikin, Fujitsu, and then LG, the last one. So they rated better on that one as well than Fujitsu. I'm comfortable with going with, the Mitsubishi, what's his name?
Dave's World.
Dave's World.
Yep.
Which that's, I mean, you guys can chime in and,
Yeah, well, we're looking at more of a commercial installation here as opposed to the residential.
that's what I'm thinking
Yeah,
too. I think
yeah,
he's thinking more of a
yeah.
commercial product.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and Dave's World, they seem to give more of the commercial
Yep.
Yeah,
than Dallas.
and I do like the longer
Or that.
warranty.
Yeah.
What's that? How do you feel? Your thoughts?
Whatever. No strong feelings for me, the other, just,
Do you want a motion?
Yes, if I could.
Okay. Are you ready for a motion or?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we have Cindy go ahead and contract with Dave's World for the installation of the heat pumps in the remodeled office and public waiting area.
Okay.
Second? All in
I'll
favor?
second it.
Okay. All in favor? 3-0. Wonderful.
Did you all have a chance to look this over?
You know what, I didn't bring mine with me, I don't think, I kept my financial stuff.
I had talked to Brian
Can I see yours?
when I read through them,
Cindy?
and just, because him and Heath's were kind of different than the rest of them, but then I learned that bios are supposed to be in the third party. So Brian and Heath's are
Are correct.
technically bios.
Right.
So-
She left out of that.
She left out the part? What part?
Well, we had worship, but,
So,
I think it's fine, I did read it, yeah, I read all the bios, I
because
think
we'd
it's
like to
fine.
get it out so people have a chance to,
Yeah. Can we just, make a note in here, I don't know if.
I'd like to put a little thing about the cleanup in there.
I'd like to
And
put,
try to get it out before, oh no,
right,
because the yard sale.
open town meeting, oh, I can't. I was gonna say, put that, a representative will be here, but, will be here.
Yeah.
I've emailed him, I haven't heard back from him. His wife has a tumor, brain tumor. Yes, so he did say to me when I talked to him, it would depend on what's going on with Kim.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave that,
And I am gonna have her try to put a little blurb about the cleanup.
Is it really?
And we can try to get this out before the cleanup happens.
Yeah, yeah. A
Okay.
reminder,
Yes.
the date, time, location, all that
I
stuff.
have one other thing.
Okay.
I need signatures on, this is a liquor permit that is required.
A liquor permit?
Yep, for a wedding, that's gonna take place, and it's, being catered, and
Oh.
it's gonna have liquor, so, they
And
need a
they're gonna
license.
be doing a reception here, or
Nope.
just in town?
In town,
Okay.
2757, it's, Burke, Sally and Gilbert, Sally and
Selling Rob.
Bob
Oh,
Burke.
who's getting married, Ethan?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so on the second page, is where I need the signatures so they can do this. And I
So you
was
have to have a
hoping,
liquor license to sit, to?
they do, they're required to have one by the state, approved by the towns. And the other thing I wanted to ask, and I didn't bring my calendar, we're due to have our June meeting June 6th. And I'm wondering if we want to have one sometime before that
Yes,
to approve the warrant.
I was gonna bring
and
that up.
get signatures and, that sort of thing, so we're all,
It doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt to do that, we have a meeting before, before the town meeting. Go
yes,
through the warrant, sign the warrant,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah.
I'll make the changes. Get all Brian's money in there.
Right, gotta get Brian's money in there. What day do you wanna do it?
It's up to you guys. I'd just soon do a morning meeting.
Are you thinking Wednesday or Thursday, the 26th, or the following week, the 1st or 2nd? First or
I'd come
second?
back in mid-May.
Into May, okay.
Because we've got to get the town report done, and we've got to get that approved by you to get it printed and get it out, along with the warrant. So,
Okay.
and like I said, I didn't bring my calendar, or my watch, or my phone. Very accurate.
What do you guys look like on Thursday, May 26th? Okay, here's my story, is that I have a dentist appointment on the 25th. Rick has one on the 26th, but if he's busy on Thursday, he always takes my dentist appointment and I take his. That's why I make him like that, because he backs out of him so much. It's called Plan B for Rick, and the dentist. So, on Thursday the 26th,
Give me a vote and we'll.
yeah, I'll give it to you. The appointment is at like 8:15, I believe. Yeah, 8:15, so I could do, if you want to do
We
a
can
9
do
or
it like
9.
Monday night at 5, doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, okay.
Monday night at 5 is
Yeah,
fine.
doesn't matter to me either, you guys.
It's up to
Or
you.
Wednesday or Thursday night, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Okay, Monday night, you mean the 23rd?
That would give us plenty of time.
That's meet the candidates.
At what, 6:30?
I'm not sure.
I don't know what
It came
time.
up on my, 6 to 7:30.
Right, so we could meet at 5.
What do you want to do? Do you want to do a Monday evening meeting, or do you want to do a morning meeting?
I don't really care. I prefer mornings, but I'm flexible.
Okay.
We can do Thursday morning, Wednesday morning, Tuesday morning. Doesn't matter.
I can do evenings or mornings that 23rd to the 26th. Do you have any appointments or anything? You can do Monday evening. If we did an early enough meeting Wednesday morning, I could have to be at the dentist at 10:15. You know how the dentist is. But the 24th I'm wide open.
24.
That's Tuesday. That would give you a couple of days to make any changes if we did anything. So, do you want to do morning or evening?
It's up to you guys.
Do you want to do morning or evening?
In the morning, you can make it 9 o'clock.
Gotta get chores done.
Right, that's fine.
Well, I've got another horse coming in, so I've got 10 horses to feed, 4 dogs. And,
Lord. Wow.
and hopefully get a cup of coffee and a piece of toast.
Yeah, exactly.
May 24th at 9?
Yeah. That's fine with you.
And I'll post it today.
Okay.
It is today. 12th?
The 12th.
Yeah, so that's plenty of time to post it. And all I'm gonna have on it is the town warrant and town report. That's all we'll do. And I'll
Right,
hopefully
just-
have it to you ahead of time to go over,
Okay.
just to get approval,
Okay.
okay?
Alrighty.
It's that time of year. Busy, busy, busy.
Is that it, you guys? So, Katie, it is 10:30 a.m. I will make a motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor, 3-0. Thank you.